Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro, friends. If you haven't had a chance to check out the links in the show notes below about the rural bushfire, I can't speak today. The rural bushfire service. The bushfires have flared up again in Australia. We would love for you to check them out and help out however you can. Today is the second of a series of 5 podcasts about coffee consulting. Today we're going to be talking about the who, why, when, and how of coffee consultants. And this is one for those who are considering becoming coffee consultants. However, if you are thinking of hiring a coffee consultant, this may be of relevance to you too. So let's start off with who should be a coffee consultant. I am often quite shocked at the number of people or the type of people who like to consider themselves coffee consultants after being in the industry for anywhere between 6 to 2 or 3 years. It's important to understand that the exchange of money that happens between you and somebody who is a business owner is a very important exchange, and it's a very serious exchange. A business owner only has a certain amount of money that they have to somehow use to create and give themselves the best opportunity at starting or growing a successful business. The thing that a business owner comes to you for, or a potential business owner comes to you for, is at the end of the day, if you had to boil it down to a phrase of why they're coming to you, it's because they are lacking the skills or the know-how how to do it themselves. And so it comes down to fear, essentially. They don't know how to do it, and they need to find the right person to do it. Otherwise, this could really fuck them over. And when they're coming to a coffee consultant, they are placing confidence in that person to not just deliver on what they say they can deliver, they have to over-deliver. Any of the consultants that work for Map It Forward must over-deliver on what they say they can do. So we only choose people who are overqualified for the positions that we put them in with regards to consulting. So the who should become a coffee consultant is somebody who is an utter expert at what they're doing. It's not somebody who has been doing that thing for a couple of years. You're not an expert. An expert is somebody who has seen multiple different scenarios of that situation. So for example, let's not even say they're coming to you for business consulting. Let's say somebody's coming to you, they know that you're a barista, and you have been working as a barista for 4 years. And somebody comes to you and says, we're looking for somebody to help us with our bar flow. And you have, in your 4 years working as a barista, worked in 2 places. Now, I would suggest that a barista in 4 years that's worked in 2 places is not qualified to consult on bar flow. And the reason I say this is because the number one thing of a consultant should be to anticipate the blind spots. If you haven't worked in a vast number of places with different workflows, you are not going to be able to anticipate the blind spots of what might come for somebody who's asking you to consult for them on bar flow. If you haven't worked with an exhaustive number of different people, you won't be able to anticipate the challenges that are experienced by people who need you to help them with bar flow. If you have only ever opened one business, and that business happened to be many years ago, and you are unfamiliar with the landscape with regards to digital marketing, with regards to what's happening online, with analytics and the way cookies are placed on people's websites and marketing endeavors, if you are not familiar with the way that social media works and social media advertising, if you are unfamiliar with the different ways that accounting is done through things like QuickBooks now, and the different options that are available to business owners that are much more affordable than they used to be with regards to bookkeeping. Those are just a couple of examples that if you only opened one business and that was 10 or 15 years ago, and you have decided that you would like to be a coffee consultant, I would suggest that you are not qualified to be a coffee business consultant that teaches somebody how to open a business. So when it comes to the who of who should be a coffee consultant, it is someone who is an expert, somebody who is highly qualified at being able to give advice and uncover and anticipate the blind spots that could potentially reveal themselves for possible clients that are going to show up. So next we move on to the why. Why should you become a coffee consultant? There are a couple of reasons why you might want to become a coffee consultant. First of all, you have seen a lot of things and you have expertise that is of value to potential clients. And if that's the case, and you could see a legitimate way that you can help people, that's a great reason to become a coffee consultant. You are somebody who can help people and give them a point of difference that is going to help them thrive in what they're doing. So let's take, for example, a coffee competition consultant. And we'll talk about this a lot more in coming episodes. There are a variety of different sectors of the industry that you can become a consultant. So it's not just business consulting. It's not just bar flow consulting, but there are things like coffee competition consultants, or some people call them coaches. If there is any kind of an exchange, you're becoming a consultant. Okay, so for example, becoming a consultant to competition. If you have competed many times, if you have won many times, if you have experience in dealing with branding, if you have experience in preparing, if you have experience in going into origin and choosing coffees for your competitions and roasting or building relationships around the things that happen at competition. Now, I've never competed. I am a coffee business consultant. In a million years, I would never dream of having an exchange that made me a consultant for competition. I do a lot of public speaking, so I can help someone formulate a speech for competition. I can teach people how to perhaps present themselves and formulate something that is entertaining. But I was previously an entertainer for 12 years. You know, that's where my strength is. But what they should include and how to approach competition as a whole, I don't know jack about that. So I'm not the right person to have as a coffee competition consultant. But if you are somebody who has competed ad nauseum at competition, and not just in the past, but recently, because competition evolves every single season, and you feel that you have something to contribute that can help people separate themselves out from other people, that's a great reason to consider becoming a competition consultant. The same goes for business. The same goes for all the different kinds of sectors with regards to becoming a coffee consultant. Now, when should you become a consultant? As I said at the top of the episode, being an expert is a fundamental element to becoming a coffee consultant or a consultant of anything. It's not just that you have a little bit of knowledge. Someone who knows a little bit about something is an incredibly dangerous person in our industry and in any industry when it comes to consultation. Remember, you're taking somebody's money that they are trusting you with to help them achieve their dreams and their goals, whatever that is, whether that be in business or in competition or any other part of their career or business, okay? I would say that to put a timeline on when someone becomes an expert is dependent on what it is they're trying to become an expert in. I usually look for somebody who's been doing what they're doing for somewhere around the 10-year mark before I will consider them an expert. I have a much higher standard than most with regards to what I will consider an expert. And that's why it's taken me so long to consider myself qualified enough to become a consultant. And so I've been doing it for about 5 or 6 years now, but I've been in the coffee industry almost 20 years. And I've been opening businesses for over 15 years. I'm a coffee business consultant. So I'm not somebody who's going to consult, like I said, in competition that I know nothing about. But when you should become a consultant is going to be dependent on not only the first thing we mentioned, which is becoming an expert, but a couple of other things. So consulting is all about being able to have an insight into exactly what's going on, not just what the person is telling you they think is going on or they think they need your help with. So it's reading what is beyond what's being told. And this is where you being an expert really comes to shine, because you're able to see not only what's happening here in the lane of what they are saying, but also in the peripheries. So you can see what's coming, you can anticipate the blind spots, as I said, but you can also hear what is not being said. And that's an important part of being a consultant. When you are confident that you're able to anticipate those things, you can see beyond just what's being said. And here's the next thing, you are able to communicate clearly and concisely what it is that you are imparting on to the person who you're consulting for. So an example of that is, let's say you're a consultant who teaches coffee brewing or coffee roasting. It's one thing to be able to know how to do those things. And let's use roasting for an example. Let's say you're a great coffee roaster, and let's say for whatever that means, great coffee roasting is different, has a different definition for many people. But let's say that the person who wants to hire you considers you a great roaster, and they want to hire you to consult for them. And you've decided, well, I want to do this for a business. I'd like to be a coffee consultant because I'm a really great roaster and I've been doing it for more than 10 years. And you can anticipate what their needs will be that they don't even know. So that's the first two things that you will need ticked off. But the third thing, communication, if you are not somebody that can teach, if you're not somebody that can actually communicate well with people so that you can impart the knowledge that you have, that is going to leave frustrations not only for you, but for them. So when to become a coffee consultant should include all of those three things: that you are an expert, that you are able to anticipate the blind spots and all the peripheral things that they will need to know. And the third thing, you have learnt how to communicate clearly and concisely the needs that your clients will have. Now on to the last thing. How do you become a coffee consultant? Well, it's a really interesting one because essentially you're just starting a new business. So how would you start any new business? You have to have a clearly defined outline of what your intention is. You have to figure out what the product is that you are offering. You're going to have to figure out how to market it and to find your customers. And then you've got to go out there and do it. I'd like to say that it was easy, but it's really not. There is a lot of noise out there. There are a lot of people that will tell you that they are coffee consultants. And like, what the fuck does that even mean these days? What is a coffee consultant? So if I could give you a couple of golden nuggets of advice. If you are intending on becoming a consultant in the coffee sector, call yourself a very specific thing. I am a coffee business consultant and coach. I work with people in the coffee industry and I coach them, whether it be they're opening a cafe or they're opening a roastery or they have a number of businesses in the coffee sector. I prefer to do my consulting on a monthly coaching situation, but it's very clear what I do from my title. I am a coffee business consultant and coach. If you are going to be a coffee competition consultant and coach, call yourself that. Don't call yourself a coffee consultant. It's too ambiguous. Separate yourself out from everybody else. The second little nugget of advice I'd like to give you: be clear on exactly what it is that you can help your clients with at the time they engage your services. Have a clear understanding what they need from you and have a clear understanding of what you can deliver to them, and make sure that they are unambiguous about knowing what it is that you have to give them. Another golden bit of nugget: know what your pricing structure is. So we will talk about this later this week, about how much should a coffee consultant cost. But think long and hard about what it is that you think that you're worth and why you think you're worth that, and put yourself in your potential client's position and ask if you would be, how they are going to see an ROI on that, a return on investment for that investment. And if you can't see it, they won't be able to see it. Now, once you've gone through that process, once they've asked you, and once they've engaged you, you will be able to outline to them exactly how you'll be able to easily make that money back for them through the changes that you're going to be making for their business. I anticipate that the way that our industry is moving, and the fact that I think that automation is going to play a huge role in the next decade of our industry, that there are going to be more and more people that are out of work in our industry. And what will happen is people will either move towards other industries or they'll start calling themselves coffee consultants. Now, if you would like to become a coffee consultant and gain independence, first of all, it's nowhere near as sexy as you think it is. It's hard work. Clients often don't take advice that you have given them only to find out later that they should have taken the advice. And then they come back and they're like, I wish I had have done that a lot sooner. And that's okay. That's about trust building. There's a whole bunch of interpersonal stuff and interpersonal skills. A lot of the time you're a counselor. It's being a coffee consultant shouldn't be that thing that you think is the easy alternative to finding another career in the coffee industry. It's not an easy job. It's not at all. It comes with an enormous amount of responsibility, and you should take it incredibly seriously. People are trusting you to better their lives through the expertise that you have. And so if becoming a coffee consultant is a part of your career goals, then I hope this episode has helped you start to prepare for that. If you have any questions about this, put them in the comments section below on our YouTube channel, and I'll happily answer any questions that you have. Like with businesses, the coffee industry doesn't need any more coffee consultants. We definitely do need more people that are great consultants in the coffee sector. I hope this has been helpful. Peace, love, and peanut butter, friends. Have an amazing rest of your day.